Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, today I am out at Julius Kleiner Park in Meridian, and we are going to fly the good old Hubsan Zeno Mini Pro. There's been another update, and you guys saw in my last video the struggles that we had with connection with this drone. So they did this other update, and I want to add that Hubsan got a hold of me, and they asked me for my flight control files, the flight records, and the files from the drone. And so that tells me that they're looking into the problem and they're aware of the issue with the disconnections with the drone. So that's a good thing, right? And then when I fired it up, I saw this firmware update number 1.4.3. And let me look at the the notes, and it says it optimized the 48 megapixel photography. Not sure what that means, but it also says it optimized flight control performance. So that could very well mean that it's going to improve the way this guy handles connections. So it is a beautiful day out at the park today. It's like 65 degrees, very little wind. I think it said 2 mile an hour sustained with 10 mile an hour gusts. I literally feel no wind right now. And the reason that I came back here is because this is the place that we struggled with the connection with this drone previously. So I thought I would take it up, and we can take a look and see if we, just see how it does. And hopefully we have a nice smooth flight. Another thing that I'm going to mention, and I'll show it to you when we fire up the drone on the app, when you fire up the pre-flight part of the app, there is a line there where it says that it asks you if you have connection problems to put the drone in, or put your mobile device in flight mode. Now, reading between the lines, I believe that means airplane mode, and a couple of commenters on my other videos brought that up as well. So I just figure it's worth a shot. I will put my phone in airplane mode, and with this update, let's just see how we do, and hopefully we don't have any disconnections, and yeah, we'll just try this guy out. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, I've got the drone fired up and it's connecting to satellites. On the device status list here, this is the part, if you look under where it says remote control there and it says connected, it tells you how to connect to the phone, etc. And then it says if the mobile phone and the remote control cannot be connected, well, in this case it was, or if the connection is unstable, turn on the phone flight mode before trying connections. So that's what we did. I believe by that they mean airplane mode on your phone. So I did that, and we'll see if that makes a difference. I see according to the controller here, we are in GPS mode already. It is not asking for any calibrations, but I'm going to do a compass calibration real quick. And I'll bet you when we got in the main screen it would ask for one anyway, but let's do that. So Hubsan has done a great job with their compass calibrations. They're just so quick and easy. So it's telling us it's ready to go. I just want to look through the menu here. Yeah, return to home is set high enough. I'm going to leave obstacle avoidance off. I've found that it doesn't work very well on this drone and causes some other issues. But we're going to leave searching for drone apron on there. And I see my phone thinks that I'm looking for Siri. Okay, we're going here again. We've got Siri shut off. That's the problem with, these kind of controllers. I kind of like it, but it also pushes up on those buttons on your phone and causes those kind of problems. So 96% battery. Let's go ahead and take off here, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to do, on the Hubsan, it's both sticks down and out to do a manual arming of the motors. So the motors are armed. I'm going to push up on the left stick. And it's telling me that obstacle avoidance is off. And look, now we have FPV, and it's nice and stable there. So I'm going to switch it into video mode, and I'm going to go ahead and start recording now. Okay, so we're recording. We should be ready to go here. Let's go ahead and spin the drone around so we can take a good look at it. We'll bring it into the camera, and we're getting a nice, stable little spin. I'm telling you, you know, I've been kind of hard on this drone in some reviews, but I'm telling you, Hubsan has done such a great job with the flight controls. So there's a little drone. It's very, very stable. You can see it there, rock it back and forth, and you can take a look at that gimbal. And that's how that gimbal keeps everything smooth, by staying steady like that. So in order to do our droney, we're going to have to be a little creative here. So I'm going to spin around, and you guys aren't going to see much of it on the camera here, but let's go ahead and turn it around. And what I'm trying to do here is point it in a direction that I'm kind of away from people. And let's drop that gimbal down a little bit, get that pre-positioned, and yeah, so reverse and up now, reverse and up. So there it goes. And we're getting some altitude pretty fast, and we stayed the other side of those folks there. And we'll get it out over the lake here, and that way we know we're not bothering anybody, and we're not going to be over the top of anybody. So let's go ahead and spin around. And already I had a little stutter on FPV. It just froze just for a second. So that's kind of weird. But I'm telling you, the drone is flying great. I mean, it just feels really good. Again, there I had another stutter on FPV, and I'm pointed directly at the drone with the controller. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, I'm getting just some FPV freeze ups a little bit. Don't know what that's all about, but let's get down here kind of close to this fountain, and we'll do a fountain orbit here. Pick up that gimbal just a little bit, and I am going to go into what they call film mode. So hopefully we can get a nice smooth, and I'm going to come in a little closer. And let's drop that camera down, and let's see if we can do a, well, I went down just a little bit too far. And we're going to go to the drone's right. And yeah, that's working pretty good. We're getting a good shot of that fountain. Seeing a lot of fishermen out here at the pond, huh? They stock this thing, and yeah, you know, I just keep getting little freeze ups on FPV, which is not doesn't make you feel very good, I'll tell you that. Yeah, there's another one. And so it makes it hard, you know. I'm trying to do a smooth orbit here, and it freezes up, makes it difficult to do that. And of course we're pretty low, we're only 10 meters high, so, but nonetheless it does create a little bit of an issue, and you want to, you know, you're trying to make sure that you can see everything very clearly. Yeah, there it goes again. Okay, so so let's go up a little bit, and we'll do that same, see if we can get that same move. Yeah, and there, like I said, gosh, I just keep getting these little freeze ups that make it difficult, because, you know, you're trying to control the drone. So I'm going to go up a little higher, and we'll get closer to this guy. And let's see if we can do an orbit from a little bit higher altitude around this guy. And I do like this film mode. Like I said, what I will say is, I mean, it's just so cool what Hubsan has done with their flight controls. compared to their earlier drones. I mean, this thing is just a massive improvement. Really, really flies nice. Yeah, look at that. I think that's pretty good. Let's pick that camera up and get a little reveal here and go straight on over here. Let's put it back into normal mode. Grab a little more speed, and if there's not a lot of people here, we'll go over the top of this sculpture. Yeah. I'm seeing some people just walking by there, so we're good there. And let's get a little bit more altitude. And boy, there, you know, I'm trying to position the drone and the FPV froze up. I'm going to move my antennas more vertical on the controller and see if that helps. I always put those antennas at about a 45-degree angle. So let's see if we can look straight down over the top of the sculpture here. Let's move a little more forward. I'm trying to get it right centered here. I apologize for this. And then I'm going to come down a little bit and get centered again. Back it up just a little. There we go. And again, you know, it's a little weird with the way that I'm getting some freeze ups, but let's just see if we can do a spin and go straight up. And the drone is kind of drifting around a little bit. So I'm doing a yaw and going straight up. This is all on the left stick. And I think that is a great, great frickin' view. And now let's lift the gimbal up while we're doing it, and you get a nice look at the park. Look at this. Okay, let's move forward here. Drop the camera down just a little so you can see more of the park, and I'm gonna get over the lake or the pond, whatever you want to call it. That way I know for sure I'm not over the top of anybody. We're at about 85 meters high, so we don't need to be that high. Dropping it down here slowly. And you can see the park's pretty active today. You know, you get some nice weather and people start coming out. Let's see if we can get down on this. You know, it's just always fun to orbit these the fountains here and those sculptures. They're just kind of perfect for that. And like I said, again, the reason I came out here is because this is where I had trouble with this drone before. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to see if I can go straight up and do a little orbit at the same time. Yeah, and it's not exactly straight up, is it? And trying to lift that camera up at the same time. And that's where I'm at over there on the far end. Okay, we're at 60 meters high. That's plenty. So let's move forward here and see if we can, yeah, we can go across here and get over here before that dog walker is underneath us. And what I'm trying to do then is, boy, then I had another little freeze up. I'm just telling you, that's so frustrating. Those FPV, I just get these intermediate little FPV freeze ups and it causes some issues. So here's another one of those sculptures. There's 3 of them here. And this is where, and I'm pointed directly at the drone with the controller. This is where we had some issues last time with the disconnect. And so that's kind of why I wanted to come out here, is to show you. And what we're going to do is drop some altitude, and we'll do an orbit around this this sculpture. We'll mess around here a little bit because this is where, like I said, this is where I lost last time I flew the drone, this is where I lost connection. Okay, so this is kind of a good little spot, and I'm going to go up just a little so you can get the full picture here. So gosh, there is a name for that pattern in the concrete here, and I'm trying to remember what they call it. But anyway, let's do an orbit here and see if we can get around this guy. And you guys can see that I always, and we're in normal mode, so yeah, I'm going to start that over, guys. I'm not happy with that. I'm going to put it into film mode. I'm going to get a little closer. And let's go into film mode and try that one more time. And in fact, I usually do a right-hand orbit. I'm going to challenge myself and do a left-hand orbit here. See if we can move to the left. And one of the things that can be difficult when you're doing these kind of maneuvers is cross coupling. In other words, you don't think that you've got that gimbal stick moved up one direction or the other, but it's easy to get those small movements that then affect it. Like I can see right now I'm kind of gaining in altitude, so yeah, and it says that there's GPS interference here, so I don't know. We still got 16 satellites. Had that little message there. But yeah, see, so I'm going to try and, yeah, and there my FPV froze up, so I don't know what happened there, but I see I am raising in altitude, and I'm purposely trying to move it a little bit closer now. But that's just one of the things when you're trying to do this kind of stuff manually. So let me show you something with this drone. Let's try something here. This particular drone has a unique orbit feature that works pretty darn good. I need to go right over the top of it. So let's go right over the top of this guy, and let's let the drone do a professional orbit that I can't do. And in fact, I think we can drop some altitude. Let's get down to about 40 meters or so, a little bit more. Okay, that's perfect. And I'm going to try and move it over just a tad. I want to be right on top of this thing. And there's some people there, so I don't want to be over the top of them. But okay, so we're going to go back into that mode, orbit mode, and click I got it, and then we're going to set the aircraft's current location as the point of interest. Next step is I have to bring it back, so I'm going to bring the drone back it up, about, I don't know, more than that. I think that's pretty good right there. And then we're going to execute immediately, and we're going to go, let's speed it up just a little. And look at that. It's going to do a perfect orbit for us on its own. So I hate to say it, but that's probably a better orbit than what I could have done. So you're getting a good look at this. And yeah, it's doing a good job. We got that Wi-Fi interference warning again there, but we've still got satellites. I'm looking at the satellites on the screen. We're right at, you know, between 12 and 14, so we're good. But those are the kind of things that the automated flight modes can really help you on. I mean, you saw me struggling to do that manually, and look at how perfect the drone is doing it on its own. I mean, that's pretty darn cool. Okay, we've got that orbit. We're going to stop, maybe. I keep clicking stop and it's not stopping. Well, I'm clicking stop on the, yeah, why won't it do that? Okay, let's click on this then, and we're going to exit, and that stopped it. Yeah, and it's giving us a battery level warning. So I had to, in the top right, I had to click on that. When I clicked stop, it just didn't do anything. So let's go ahead and pick the camera back up, and I think I can kind of go over it. We haven't really looked over here. Let's challenge this guy a little bit, and let's go further this direction. I'm going to put it back in normal mode, and so we can make some time here. So what you're looking at here is, wow, and I see that really kind of blew out the sky as I picked up the camera, and the horizon looks like it's tilted just a little bit. But that is a CarMax right there. Look at all those cars, you know. They talk about a used car shortage. Evidently, CarMax doesn't have that issue. So, yeah. And let's move on around here. We can probably go out into the farmer's field here a ways. We're at 37% battery, so I'm going to throw it in sport mode. Let's head out to the farmer's field out here a little ways. Let's challenge this guy and see, you know, check our connection out, right? I think we're doing pretty darn good. I can tell you now, FPV all of a sudden is cleared up. I haven't seen a freeze up for a while, so that's a good thing. So we're not going to cross that street. We're going to stop right here and bring this guy around. And what you're looking at there is the Village Shopping Center, and you can tell that's kind of one of those popular styles now where it's the architecture makes it look like an Italian village or something, and then you got the park right next to it here. So we should just be able to go straight across and come back to us. So let's just move straight across here. And we should be getting to return to home here eventually. Let's see how fast this guy will go. It's me dropping the camera down a little bit. And I'm getting a little bit of beep. We got 17 satellites. We're going to go right over the top of both of these ponds. The other sculpture, the senior center down there on the right. And it's telling me the battery level is at 30%, but it knows we're coming home. Okay, so what we're going to do is I am going to go out, and I'm getting a beep, and I don't know why. It's not giving me any warnings, but I'm getting a beep from the controller. Oh, it's controller battery is what it is. It's down to 25% on the controller. So that's weird. It seemed like it was at 3/4. It's weird, the controller on this thing. It's only good for just a few flights. So we're just about out of battery anyway, so I'm going to bring it around here and point it towards us. Well, not quite towards us. Let's point it right there, and let's do a return to home, an auto return to home. I'm going to put it back into normal mode. We're going to do a return to home on the controller.
Return to home.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but they've changed the voice in the app now, where it's a very Americanized voice, where the voice previously had a Chinese accent. I thought it was just fine, but now they've definitely had some more voiceover on all those things. So that's me dropping the gimbal down as it comes closer to us. Let's see if we can get a precision landing. So I've got the gimbal pointed straight down. As you can see, it's a ways off there, but yeah, it says data preparation, please wait. Now, I remember on older Hubsan drones, you had to shut off recording. I don't remember this one specifying that. So we're just going to let it go as it is. And I'll cancel it if I have to. Although even if it landed in the grass, it's not going to hurt anything. I don't know. Look, it sees it there. So let's give it a shot here. We're just going to let it land. It sees its landing spot and it's moving over it. Look at that. So it should, I think, it either turns blue or green when it feels like it's got it. And it's paused, the drone is paused there for a second. And it's dropping down now. It went into landing mode. And it's going to be, I think, just, yeah, look at that, right on. So we got that's a precision landing if I ever saw it. We have all 4 legs on the landing pad, and it automatically shuts down FPV. We're at 20% battery. Now, the next step will be to look at the video off of the internal memory on the drone and see how that looks. But other than that, this was a good flight. So let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey guys, the little Hubsan Zino Mini Pro, gosh, this is one of the best flights I've had with this drone. Now, I don't know whether it was the firmware update or the fact that I put my phone into airplane mode, but connection-wise, we didn't lose connection at all, which is a plus, because that has been a big problem with this drone since the first time I've ever flown it, and even the previous one that I had, that was one of the biggest issues. So, you know, if Hubsan has got that solved, that is phenomenal. So again, and thank you to the people in my comment section before who suggested that, putting my phone in airplane mode. And like I said, when you read it on their pre-flight page, it says to put the phone in flight mode, your phone in flight mode. But what does that mean? Well, translated, that means airplane mode. The only issue I saw with connection-wise is my FPV feed. I get little freeze-ups once in a while, and unfortunately, I noticed I didn't get a full screen recording. When I was doing the compass calibration, the screen recording quit. And I should have checked it and made sure it was restarted, but I didn't. So you guys aren't going to be able to see that. But I'm going to tell you what I saw was just little bits of freeze up. As I was, and you have already heard me talking about it in my narration, but as I was doing those orbits, it would freeze for a second. So, you know, you're hoping your orbit is the way it's supposed to be. Then it'd come back. And like I said, they were just momentary, but it was enough to cause a little bit of grief. Other than that, that's probably the biggest complaint I have. And of course, I haven't looked at the video off of the internal memory on this guy. I'll look at that when I get home, depending on how that looks. If it's good, man, I'm gonna call it a good flight. And it was fun out here. You can see the park is getting busier as the weather gets better. And in fact, my GoPro overheated right when I was done with the flight. GoPro shut down because it overheated, and it's only like, I don't know, it's not even 70 degrees, but the sun is beating down on it and there's no wind. So that makes a difference. So anyway, I guess that's about it. I can recommend that firmware update, 1.4.3, I believe it is. Let me double check that for you. Yeah, firmware update 1.4.3. And they said that improved flight control, and I'm gonna say it did. So yeah, that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one, the little Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. All right, see you guys later. Bye now.